Welcome everyone to episode 5 of the Top Gear Philippines podcast. I am Leandre.
And it's Carlo.
Sheng.
And Anton.
So first things off, we start with the news, and I have been out of the loop for the past week or so. So please, Sheng, take it away.
So apart from Lando Norris winning the Dutch Grand Prix, congratulations, Lando. So we have the new RFID related fines based on Joint Memorandum Circular number 2024-001. So these were supposed to be implemented beginning August 31st, but it's now been deferred to October 1st. So just as an example, if you have insufficient load, the first offense is 500 pesos, second offense is 1,000, and subsequent offenses are 2,500.
Which is weird because like you'd expect if they're gonna have rules like that they should fix their scanners first.
As a resident of the South, I completely agree. Because just yesterday, I got stuck at the toll plaza for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but and when you get stuck, it's like there's no solution.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's actually why the implementation was deferred, because the DOTR wants the agencies, tollway operators to use the 30-day period to fine-tune their expressway operations and then inform the public about the new
I have a
regulations.
genuine question though. What if, okay, there's a cash lane that's also an RFID lane, diba?
Yes.
In some cases. No? So if you have insufficient load, but you're willing to pay cash, are you still going to be like automatically fined for that?
I think.
What?
Because the idea here is just like the first implementation, they wanted to do this din right away several years ago. If you have insufficient load, matik fine ka talaga. Because the idea is everybody passes through the expressways with enough load. So mababawasan yung traffic sa toll plazas.
In
And
a
if
perfect
you
world.
guys have been to the South recently, have you guys seen the new Skyway on-ramp? It's gonna be a nightmare when that new toll plaza opens. So yeah, let's see in October. Is there anything else about that we need to know?
Not really. You can just read the full story on the website.
Okay.
All right. So next up, Anton, I think this is from you.
Yes.
This?
Okay, so Ford, big news from Ford, literally and figuratively. LTO homologation papers have shown that the F-150 Raptor is probably being considered for the local market. And it's like they skipped over the Ranger V6 and going straight for full glory of the F-150.
Which is weird because the Ranger engine, the twin turbo V6, that's in the Bronco. Already.
No,
It's actually different
It's in
because
the Raptor.
the one in the Ranger Raptor, the V6 Ranger Raptor, is a 3-liter V6 twin turbo. This one has a twin turbo 3.5-liter with about 450 horsepower. We've seen some of the comments like, no, it should be a V8 and ganyan, but
It
okay,
used to be a V8.
yeah, but okay.
We've never really tried it yet. Have you driven it? Did you drive it when you were in Vietnam?
I drove a Ranger Raptor.
Ranger Raptor.
But not the F-150.
Raptor.
Not the full fat Raptor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty good specs there. The other one is this.
First tremor.
Yes, the Everest Tremor, which is actually something we'd like here because Ford for the longest time is like, oh, we probably won't build an Everest Raptor ever, but this is the closest we'll ever get. It looks pretty good. It has proper off-road suspension and everything.
Isn't there a Ranger Tremor then? Diba there's one?
Yes, there is.
So this is the Everest equivalent.
Yes.
Yeah, so interesting.
Pretty cool SUV. Hopefully Ford Philippines considered it here.
All right.
Yes. So again, marketplace fines. I think this week it's a bit more interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Guys, I still see a BMW on the list, but what can you do?
Until I buy an actual E36, I will never stop sharing BMW marketplace finds.
So I guess we'll start with you, Leandre.
Yeah, okay. So actually, I was telling Anton about this one earlier. I have an E36 find. It's a 316i. And it looks very, very clean. Like, I'll show you the photos there. It looks very clean. BBS wheels, I don't know if they're original. It costs 100 grand.
So maybe not original.
It's super clean, but it's 100,000 pesos. And it says, as is, where is.
Okay.
In good working condition.
Is it?
Here's the thing, Leandre.
RFS, owner is a college student and can no longer support the build. So it's in the process of building. But
Okay, here's the thing, Leander. And I've been through this so many times already. the most expensive car you can buy.
It's a cheap BMW.
Exactly.
I know. A friend asked me before about these, and that's the exact same thing I told them. And these were selling for like 300 to 400 pa at the time. And they were kind of like cheaper end. And I told them the exact same thing. But it's interesting though. It's interesting. Newly changed oil, newly replaced oil filter, new fuel pump, new battery, new cylinder gasket.
There's a reason why there's a new cylinder gasket.
But yeah, that's one of my marketplace finds this week.
I was here yesterday. Okay, I'm not doing the Land Cruiser 70 this week, but I found a couple of Germans. The first one is sedan. It's not a BMW for a change. So the first one is a 2016 Volkswagen Passat for 650,000 pesos.
Passat.
Yeah.
Passat, yeah.
Rare finds. Ang interesting
Wonderful,
car spotting PH.
wonderful
You know,
car.
when this was new, we were trying to book a test unit for it, and then my dad rocked up one day. He got a test unit from a dealership he was talking to of a Passat. So yeah, but we weren't able to shoot it for the magazine back then, but it was interesting. We didn't get one. I ended up with a Accord, the secondhand one, but I think yeah, it's interesting for me.
I actually have a photo of a Passat on the road here on my phone. Just for the sake of, interesting car spotting PH. Kasi rare finds on the road. A Passat!
It's basically a Tito GTI or a Tita GTI because it has the exact same engine, but in a more mature package.
What's funny is that we just talked about the death of the midsize sedan.
And here we are.
And here we are with all the midsize sedans.
That's the reason they're all in the second-hand car market.
And good price.
Because none of you guys would buy it new.
That's true.
That brings us to yours. Your finds.
Okay, so while we're on the subject of underpowered diesels, I also have one. It's even slower and heavier. And it is, of course, from Munich.
Of course.
Okay.
More German cars.
So this is an E38 BMW 7 Series. It is a 725 TDS.
TDS.
So it's so old
20
that,
pesos lang.
so this was the time before BMW started putting D at the end of their badges for diesel. That's how old this is. Now the 725 TDS is...
It has a hole in it.
Yes, there is. It needs a bit of TLC, so
They're loving Masilia.
yeah. So it's a 2.5 liter straight six. Sounds good so far. But this is a pre-chamber diesel. And it's a single cam, so it's a 12 valver. And it weighs about 4,000 pounds.
I bet this thing like,
Although,
That's the reliable kind of diesel.
yes.
It's unstressed.
but
It's
how will Mother Earth react to it?
she'll be coughing. So this one makes even less power than a 318D. So this makes 143 horsepower.
Get the 6-cylinder, they said.
This is a 6-cylinder.
It'll be fun. They said.
And to be fair, this is James Bond's 7 Series.
Well, Bond won't be going anywhere quickly with this one.
If I'm running away with this one,
Load up with weapons. No.
It does come with a smoke screen.
Automatic smoke screen.
Standard.
But yeah, this is a short wheelbase, so it's not as heavy, but still heavy.
is this the correct price? It's 220 grand or 220?
Well, if it's 220 pesos, get it tomorrow.
With 220 grand, you end up...
I could just Gcash it to the seller.
you end up with a money pit that actually looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like it'll cost you more than
After you
220.
fix it, the whole...
Not just
There's a hole in the rubbing strip. It's missing a corner light.
It's missing a corner.
All the center caps, well, the left side center caps are missing.
Yep.
The
It's been on sale for
all-
45 weeks.
all on the left side.
Yeah.
Something happened on the left side.
the headliner is about to go down. The tan leather seats are a bit grubby, but there is a car phone, which is cool.
So it's a typical old BMW.
Yes.
That
Very
has been left to rot. Anyway, that brings us to our next segment. Wrong car, right car. I think, Carlo, the inquiry was from your friend.
Yes. So my friend was having dinner with him recently, and he brought up that he needs a good family car. Now, the interesting thing about him, he's a new dad, so like you, Anton, but unlike you, he suddenly has 2 babies because they had twins. And when you have twins and you have two yayas and two car seats,
So basically, you need a 6-seater at least.
not even, because when you
No,
have a
no.
6-seater, the seats, the
Seven.
rear-facing car seats will have problems. So they have a budget of about 2 million,
Uh-huh.
and they want something that's reliable and can fit everyone, basically.
So the Custom is out of the question, isn't it?
The Custom
seats.
has captain seats in the center.
And the captain seats in the center mean that the
The Yayas don't have access to the babies.
yeah, which is a problem. Well,
And you can't put the babies in the third row because there's no isofix mountings in the third row.
that's something I didn't think of also.
So
So, and remember,
Wait,
after all this, you now have 2 strollers you need to put in the back.
that's a van.
does the Starias seats flip around? Like, humaharap ba sila sa likod?
Okay.
Would you guys know?
But even if they do, you can't put a rear-facing car seat. The baby's head has to be rear-facing. So
So it has to be a front facing.
it has to be front-facing.
This is a very specific problem.
well, very specific problem.
Okay. But definitely they're gonna have to get a van.
Yes, but what van?
Okay. If it's not the 7-seat Staria, maybe we can suggest the 11-seater Staria and just chuck away the rest of the seats.
Okay. Does that have isofix in the center row?
Yes.
Oh.
And then we can
And how much is that?
like a shade under.
Under 2M.
Yeah, it's a shade under
I think it's
2M.
under 2M.
Okay, okay.
However, Leandre, we were kind of disappointed with one thing about the Staria.
Hey, no, wait. I was disappointed with the 7-seater. I drove the 11-seater. It rode way softer, way more comfortable.
Really?
Yes.
Why would that change?
Charles, you know, right? Kasi all-wheel drive yung 7-seater.
Oh.
The 11-seater is not. And it made a world's difference. It's so much lighter to drive. It rode so much better. Like, I couldn't stop raving about it no review ko na. Why did I drive the 7-seater first? I was so disappointed in the Staria. Then I drove the 11-seater.
So,
Okay, this makes a bit more sense.
11-seater Staria. Check out the back seats. And you have some space.
For cargo. A lot of space for
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one.
Yeah, that's one suggestion. Any other vans out there? Well, we're kind of missing the obvious one.
highs.
Yeah. Yep. We're missing it because the highest is expensive.
Yeah, and it's
It doesn't have to be the Super Grandia. Because one, there's a 2 million patong on resellers if you get a Super Grandia.
Not with the Pogos that left. In fairness.
you have second-hand cars. So
secondhand Grandias are about
they
2-3.
brand new cars? Do they want brand new?
Not necessarily.
Ideally,
Ideally, yes, because when you're putting your babies in the car, you can't have this.
you don't have to get the Super Grandia. You can get the GL Grandia instead.
It's just easier to get than the Super Grandia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Grandia has a super high demand. Yeah. GL Grandia is the top spec that isn't the Super Grandia.
Exactly.
The thing is lang, with the Staria 11-seater, if you want to go under 2 million, you get a manual transmission.
Oh, you get the school bus commuter.
Yeah, the
Ooh,
that's the station.
LS Plus. That's
Which is
what
hard for my friend.
It's 2.3 million.
Yeah.
Oh no! So that
Well, it's an option for him.
yeah
Yeah. It's a good reason to drive a manual. Or splurge a little bit, get the automatic. Diba?
yeah.
Just a little more. Just a little.
Just a little more. Just a little more.
Or
Oh, no. Are you about to say what I think you're going to say? Hans?
yes.
What are you going to say?
So if anyone's in the market for a secondhand Chevrolet Suburban,
Oh, Lord.
because you can leave the third row up in a Suburban and you can still just
that's
throw
true.
everything at the back.
Well, it's not just a Suburban then. If you're looking at the Suburban, you can't discount the
Expedition, yeah, which is even cheap. You can get one for 1.4.
cheaper. You can get it for about 1.4. And when we went to the States, we were a lot in the car. We were 6 in the car with full luggage. The luggage fits even with the third row up. So I'm assuming no problem with strollers. Okay, so basically the choices are the ones that make sense in my mind right now. The Staria, 11-seater, automatic, splurge a little bit, or the manual, be under 2M. A second-hand Expedition makes more sense. Suburban, yes.
Ish.
Ish.
I did 3.5 kilometers per liter in
You're
March.
sending, di ba, imagine the school run, you're sending 2 kids to school, and then you have to top up.
The Expedition will grow with them more than the Staria.
It will.
Yeah.
Your bills will also grow.
Your bills will grow.
If their budget, ito lang din, one thing to consider. If their budget is 2M for a new car, feel ko they have reservations for fuel economy.
Yeah, but not that much.
Not that much. No, I think it's really more the size because he drives. My friend drives.
Okay.
So
If he doesn't care about fuel economy, go ahead and get the American big boys.
the V6 is terrible in terms of fuel economy when you're like
Flooring it.
flooring it and stuff. But in general driving, probably that's 4 or 5. It's
It's
not terrible.
palatable.
It's palatable. Yeah. We're a far way away from the really bad expeditions before with the V8s.
Yeah,
So
which
there-
I don't recommend.
yeah.
With a 5.4.
So are we in agreement that it's the Staria brand new or Expedition Suburban secondhand?
Well, again, we can't discount the Grandia.
Grandia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty good choices, I think. But the question is, if you could have one of those, what would it be?
Staria.
Staria.
Story.
Staria.
I'm stupid.
Staria, but I have to admit the CarPlay is very wonky in the Hyundais.
No, but that can be fixed with software updates.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And then the stupid decision.
The Expedition Platinum.
I would agree with Anton, actually. The Expedition is quite interesting.
I
Secondhand.
would not drive something like that. My God.
No, because the Expedition also has ADAS.
Yes.
And when you're a new dad, safety matters.
I don't know. Anyway,
well, safety matters in the Expedition because, they don't, if you crash into something, no, the thing crashes into you.
Yes.
when you crash into something, it's gonna take a while before anything hits you inside the cabin.
Yes.
That's what safety means in these American cars.
So there you go.
So that's it for our Wrong Car Guide car this week. So on to the next one. What are we driving this week?
Leandre, you go ahead.
I am driving the car we mentioned earlier. It's the Hybrid Camry, the lone mid-size sedan survivor in the segment, in the market actually. And it's been with me overnight pala. It's been one night, but I've had so much fun driving it. Maybe also because I've been driving trucks and big ass SUVs for 2 weeks now, and sedan is just so refreshing to drive. It rides soft. The interior is okay. it's old.
It's
Like,
old. But
It
I really
looks
do-
so new.
I really do like that Camry.
Yeah, it looks new on the outside, but when you get inside,
It's,
oh my
it's
God.
the okay. Ever since Morizo, Akio Toyota, became more involved with vehicle development, all the Toyotas are so fun to drive.
It's fun to
Yes.
drive. It is fun to drive.
Who
And
would have thought? Fun Camry.
yeah, again, my disappointment that the V6 was not fun, but this is it is fun. And-
Okay, the V6 is fun in its own way.
but this one, I was gunning it last night. I was gunning it at 100 kilometers per hour to Alabang and back from Laguna just to get the car with Charles. And I got a solid 16 kilometers per liter this morning when I was driving to the office. 16 kilometers per liter. I'm not sure how it's gonna do after all this traffic. I think it might
Actually,
It'll do
traffic
better.
improves hydrogen.
It'll do better.
because flooring it does not help. So yeah,
You mean rapidly accelerating
Rapidly,
compared to other
yes.
traffic? The second one is okay. In Europe, it's mid-sized, but in other countries, they call it compact. So I have 3 Series with me, Home Sweet Home. It's a 318i business, and everything just feels familiar. That's all I have to say.
Anton and his BMW.
just another day at the office.
No, but it's nice. We're lucky that we get to try all the BMWs and stuff. So sometimes we're a bit used to it. But when you actually drive one for the first time, it's just fantastic. There's nothing, you can't ask for anything more in a sports sedan.
Well,
Power is okay.
I just do have to know that if you're like a BMW fan from like the 90s,
It's
and
all of us.
2000s,
All of us are BMW fans from the 90s.
No, I was born in the 90s.
the first thing you're going to notice, it doesn't feel as engaging as before and stuff like that. But you have to remember that this thing is literally the size of an E39 5 Series.
That's true.
They've grown so much. How far they've grown.
Yeah, an entire half meter.
The only complaint I have with all these new BMWs still is the
Everything's in a screen.
head unit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember your story about the X5. Yung bigla na lang you reset the screen.
Yeah, you have to
It
reset.
turns black.
Yeah, the whole thing makes that.
Charles has already mastered how to do it. Like, oh my God, namatay. Ito yung sinasabi ni Carlo.
Diba? Like when you turn it off, it seems like you've broken the car. You're just restarting the iDrive.
Okay,
Because what did I do?
Leandre, word of advice if you do get that European car someday. It's an IT solution.
Yes.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
Yeah,
That is my word of advice.
Don't worry, my European car will not have that head unit.
Oh, it still does it.
Definitely not.
It's an E36. It does that.
Kahit aftermarket na Apple CarPlay now. No, I'm a BMW. I'm gonna do this.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? It worked? Okay,
Well,
fantastic.
if your BMW turns on again, that's the danger also. I've had old BMWs. Have you tried turning it off? Cannot turn it off.
Don't turn it off.
That's all the time we have for today. So thanks, guys, for joining us. And Sheng's still here. She'll still be here next week.
I don't want to sit here because it's so cold. But we have a new setup next week.
We have a new setup next
Yeah.
week.
We've bought a new studio.
I bought a new studio.
Wait for the new backdrop. Just kidding. Anyway, this has been the Top Gear Philippines podcast, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you guys, or you'll hear us, guys, next week.
See you.
Until next time.
Bye.